Advanced English Arabic Learning Phrasal Verbs, Session 15. I read off the figures and she wrote them down in her notebook. The teacher read out the names of the students who'd passed. I've been reading up on Japan as I'm going to live there next year. He reasoned out the answer to the math problem. They had reckoned on a day or two more of privacy. What do you reckon on this place? She asked. We can reckon on there being at least 50 people there tonight. They hadn't reckoned with a visit from Charles. They reckoned without her courage and determination. He reeled in a 10-pound salmon. Sailplanes are often launched by means of a wire reeled in by a winch. He reeled in a good perch. My grandmother often reeled off one story after another. She reeled off the titles of a dozen or so of the novels. She immediately reeled off several names. The Yankees reeled off 20 straight wins. They hope the discounts will reel people in. She proceeded to reel off the various dishes of the day. The minister reeled off a load of figures to support her position. They reeled off 5 victories and became the champions. The two reeled out of the bar arm in arm. First, reel out the electric cable carefully. At closing time he reeled out of the pub and fell down on the pavement. I reeled out the hose and watered the lawn. They had to rein the minister in after her dreadful performance on TV. She got on her motorbike and rode off. His reputation is riding on this deal working out. They managed to ride out the recession. Your skirt has ridden up at the back. Her skirt rode up when she sat down. They rented their house out while they were abroad. I phoned this morning but she still hasn't rung me back. I rang in and told them I would be late. He rang off when he saw his boss coming. 2 shots rang out and then we heard a scream. I rang round to see if anyone knew where she'd gone. Helen rang me up earlier. They rang up several victories. They rang up the bill for the groceries. The room rang with their laughter. Tourists get ripped off a lot when they don't speak the language. The army rolled back when they came under attack. The government want to roll back the freedom of the press. The years rolled by. They rolled in very drunk at 3 o'clock in the morning. The tanks rolled in and took control of the capital city. The competition rolled on despite the administrative problems. The company rolled out its takeover plans last week. Thousands rolled up to see the stars at the film premiere. Roll up. Come and see the circus tonight. In the first race, the favorite romped in. We romped through the tasks because they were so simple. He rooted about in his briefcase, trying to find a pen. She was rooting around in her drawer for a pencil. I rooted around my flat trying to find the letter. Everyone was rooting for Arsenal to win the Champions League. I spent a day in the garden, rooting out rose bushes. He made it his goal to root out all spies in his midst. They are trying to root out the troublemakers. He rooted up the plants and replanted them. The National Guard roped him in for another 2 years of service. I really didn't want to sing in the talent show, but Janet roped me in. I managed to rope in a few friends to help us move out on Saturday. I got roped into helping them set the stall up. The police roped off the scene of the crime. The celebrity entrance was roped off from the general public. The mugger roughed him up when he refused to hand his wallet over. A pint at the pub will round off the day nicely. Winning the FA Cup rounded off a wonderful season for Arsenal. The Prime Minister refused to row back and lost the vote. They liked each other and rubbed along quite well. They rub along because their overheads are so low. She rubbed the horse down with a towel after riding it. The trainer rubbed her down after the race. He applied the cream and rubbed it in. Even though the minister had resigned, the press rubbed it in by publishing more details. The situation was embarrassing enough without having you rub it in. We all know she made a mistake, but you don't have to rub it in. They don't just beat you, they rub it in. His enthusiasm rubs off on everyone around him. He rubbed out the figure and wrote the correct one in. The gangsters rubbed him out for stealing from them. The cat rubbed up against my leg purring. I need to rub up on my Portuguese before I go to Brazil. The police have ruled out suicide and are treating it as a case of murder. I ran across an old friend in the library. The police ran after the guy who'd stolen it. He was running after her for ages, never managed to get a date. Opinion is running against his policies and he has very little support. He told them to run along and leave him in peace. I've spent the whole day running round after the kids. I'm exhausted, I've been running around all day. He ran away from his attackers. She ran away to avoid a forced marriage. Cobbled streets run down to a tiny harbor. The minicab ran him down on the zebra crossing. You should only recharge the battery when it has fully run down. They're always running me down and I am sick of it. The police ran down all the leads they had and caught them. She's thinking about running for the presidency. They ran him in last night. She ran the car in for 1,000 miles. We ran in and chatted for an hour. He ran a graph in next to the text. The project has run into millions of dollars. I ran into James in a bar. Could you run off 200 copies of this report, please? The car runs on unleaded fuel. We've run out of sugar, I'm going to the shops for some. Could you run over that point again? The driver ran the fox over when it ran in front of his car. The meeting ran over by 20 minutes. The cast ran through the play the day before it opened to the public. The musketeer ran his enemy through with a sword and killed him. Whenever he gets into debt, he runs to his parents for help. His musical tastes run to the residents. Things are a bit tight and won't run to going abroad for a holiday. He ran up next to me and started shouting. They ran up the Union Jack. He ran up a few examples for them to look at. He ran up a lot of bills at the hotel. They ran up against a lot of opposition to the construction. Robert was sitting in his car and a guy ran up on him and shot through the car. She runs with some dodgy characters. She saddled up the horse and rode off. They saddled me with preparing the visit. They rushed away when the police arrived. As soon as the campaign started, they rushed into action. I don't want to rush you into something. An ambulance was waiting to rush him to hospital. We'll rush you a copy at once. A rewritten textbook was rushed out last autumn. He rushed off to get to his medical appointment. See if you can rustle up a cup of coffee for Paula and me, please. We rustled up dinner from what was in the fridge. A nurse rustled in. Rustle around the kitchen, see what there is. I was bored so I bunk off work early and went home. I was bored so I sagged off work early and went home. He sailed into me for turning up an hour late. He sailed through the final test. The townspeople sallied forth to fight the invading army. Though it was pouring with rain, we sallied out to meet her. They salted the money away in numbered bank accounts around the world. I salted away money from my summer job to pay for college. She's salting away more money for retirement. She's making a lot of money, but salts it away rather than spending it. He sawed off the legs of the chair. We sawed the plank up to make the shelves. They had to scale back the project because of the costs. They have had to scale down the project because of the costs. They are scaling up the program because it has been so successful. The cat scared the birds away. The vicious dog scared the burglars away. The company is scouting about for new staff. We scouted around to find the best price. The researcher spent months scouting out the answer. I scouted round for a bargain. We'd better scout up a replacement for her. The end. Coming next. Session 16.